The Nasarawa State Governor, Abdullahi Sule, has sworn in the first acting Chief Judge of the state, Justice Aisha Bashir Aliyu. Justice Aisha's appointment follows the retirement of the former Chief Judge of the state, Suleiman Diko, after 35 years of service. At the swearing-in ceremony, the governor urged the new acting Chief Judge to carry out her duties without fear or favor.
Welcome you into this new assignment, and for you to continue to remember what you have just done. You are sworn in by the Constitution with the Quran on the other hand, that you will do justice, you will be fair, you will do everything it takes for the development of our state. I pray the Almighty Allah will guide you in line with what you have sworn in. Today also is the last day of the year, and so what a day actually to start a new leaf from all directions, but from my dear friend and from me also, yourself the new CJ.
The Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule has signed into law the 2021 appropriation bill of 115 billion 700 million. The State House of Assembly added the sum of 2 billion 800 million naira to the initial sum of 112 billion 900 million proposed by the governor. The 2021 budget now has a capital expenditure of 53 billion 800 million naira and 53 billion 800 million naira as recurrent expenditure. The signing into law of the 2021 budget has given the state another opportunity to begin the constitutional 12-month implementation from January 2021.
However, the Honorable House of Assembly, after thorough scrutiny of the submission, passed a total budget of 115 billion 722 million 812,343 naira 31 kobo only for the 2021, which I have just signed. The figure represents a 2.48% increase from our initial submission. The new budget figure consists of 53 billion 874 million 156,817 naira for recurrent expenditure and 53 billion 830 million 925,495 naira for capital expenditure, indicating 47%, and 7 billion 17 million 732,031 naira for consolidated revenue fund charges, which represents 6.06%. The signing into law of the 2021 budget today will afford us once again the opportunity to begin the constitutional 12-month budget cycle implementation commencing from 1st of January to 31 of December 2021.
The government and people of Nasarawa State receive an August visitor. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is in the state for the inauguration of the job fair organized by the State Office of the Human Capital Development. The job fair is an initiative of the Nasarawa State government anchored by the Office of the Human Capital Development in the state to train youths on entrepreneurship skills.
The present administration of Nasarawa State, under the stewardship of Abdullahi Sule, in a bid to be among the top 3 most competitive states in Nigeria by the year 2023, keyed into the human capital development agenda with total conviction, dedication, and commitment. The governor, Engineer Abdullahi Sule, graciously gave approvals for the establishment of a 4-room well-equipped and furnished ACD office, governed by a council consisting of 18 members, chaired by the Deputy Governor. Citizens of Nasarawa State, especially women and youth, have enjoyed several interventions. This employability and entrepreneurship program and job fair, one of them. Participants were drawn from the 13 local government areas of the state with a mandatory 50% female participation as a criteria presented by Oxfam for the collaboration. The goal of this job fair is to expose our participants who underwent a 3 weeks intensive training program, both theory and practical, to high-level interaction with esteemed employers here today, hoping that a number of them, if not all, will secure employment and also to expose them to business opportunities.
This is a view for us to eradicate poverty, create wealth and employment generation for socio-economic development and curbing of youth restiveness in Nasarawa state and indeed in Nigeria. Your Excellency, we wish to inform that participants have undergone a 3-week intensive training on communication and social equity, business writing, selling skills, work ethics, excellence in customer service, initiative and proactive thinking, team building, and problem solving, among others. This is intended to enhance the capacity of our trainees to be gainfully employed, as well as engage in meaningful ventures through active participation in various entrepreneurial skills. Mr. Vice President, I wish to inform you that this event is not only graduating the participants, but sitting directly opposite you are some of the key employers that have already spoken with them. Amongst them, we have the Azman that has about 14,000 hectares in total and currently in operation, and they are here for employment. Is Azman here to please stand up? We have the project director of the Dangote Group, together with the Dangote that acquires 68,000 hectares of land, and they are here also for employment of some of these. Dangote Group, are you here? Please stand up. We have the Olam Group that currently having about 10,000 hectares in Doma area, and currently having about 4,000 employees, and working to employ more. We are hoping that all these 80, you will take them away from Dangote so that Dangote doesn't even have any. So if the Olam Group here, in order not to delay, we also have the Fujian marbles, because one of the biggest marbles companies in the states, and we just discovered happens to be right here in Nasarawa state. When I visited, I was blown away to know that all these marbles are being produced right here in Nasarawa state with our stores. So we invited them, and we are hoping that they can take all the 80 people away. So are they here? Please stand up. The Fujian, they're down there. We have the HCMB pension, who are here. We have the Keystone Bank. We also have Maseni, and so many others that way. Considering the significant role played by our youth in nation building process, which has positive impact on socio-economic development of the society, it has therefore become imperative to continue to strengthen the effort of our youth by providing an enabling environment for them to contribute their quota for the overall prosperity of our dear state and the country at large. It is for this reason that we have resolved to continue to accord priority attention to youth empowerment with a view to making them active players in our economic development.
The trainers, Oxfam Nigeria and Poise Graduate Initiative, are confident that the youth have been embedded with the requisite knowledge to excel in their careers. Pleased with the program, Professor Osinbajo wants the youth to be open to new ideas and take cognizance of opportunities available to them.
Frankly, I think that you are probably one of the very best equipped group of people that we can find anywhere in the country today. But this, I note, is to enable all these participants, all of you, to acquire the skills that you need to commence the process of being the best employees you can be or the best entrepreneurs. But just as I sat down, I thought, that what would be useful for me to do today for a few minutes is to share a few thoughts with you about what I think you ought to, how I think you ought to be thinking, and what I think you ought to do. There are a few things you mustn't ever forget. The first is that you must always keep learning. Always keep learning. Always be ready for the next opportunity. And the only way is by being ready to learn and to keep learning. Many times we're very ambitious, all of us. I mean, I remember when I was about your age, very, very ambitious, thinking about so many different things. But I always found that the only people who ever got ahead were people who were ready when the opportunity struck. I'll tell you something that happened to me many years ago. I was at the time serving as a head of a department, and there was a lady who was also in that department, a lawyer, and she came to me several times to tell me that her ambition was to study, to get a master's degree in law from a foreign university. As a matter of fact, she told me she wanted to go to the US, but she had no money. But she wanted to go abroad. She wanted to go to the US to study, to get a master's. And she was a very prayerful person. She prayed a lot. And she would tell me every time, she would say, God is going to answer. God is going to answer this, my prayer. One day, the US Embassy then, this was many years ago, sent me a request to nominate 2 people to do a master's program in the US. One of the courses that they wanted, that they offered, was exactly what this lady was looking for. But they gave me 48 hours. They said, well, we're sorry, it's late, but these people must come to us in 48 hours because the whole exercise closes in 48 hours. So very joyfully, I called the lady, and there was a gentleman, one man and this lady, and said, this is it. She shouted, God has answered my prayers. And we're all very excited. So I said to her, okay, go and bring your passport so that we can send it to the embassy. She said, no, I have no passport. So we started trying to get a passport. Anyway, cut a long story short, the passport didn't come out in the 48 hours. She couldn't go, she couldn't attend the program. She missed the opportunity. The other man, I don't know, he at least had a passport and he was able to make it. But it taught me an important lesson, and I hope it taught her a lesson too. That with all the prayers, with all the ambition, with all the great thoughts in the world, if you are not ready when the opportunity comes, you are going to miss it. And it will be your fault. You won't be able to blame anyone. That is why constant learning, constant exposure to learning. And today, the opportunities are many. The second thing I want you to remember is that integrity is key. Integrity is key. Now, when you tell people about integrity, they think, oh, it's just people advising you to be honest. Maybe it's nice to be honest. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a godly thing. But let me tell you what, the truth is that integrity pays. In other words, if you happen to be a person who can be trusted, if you can be trusted, you will go places. Because everybody in the world, even thieves, are looking for honest people to keep their money with. You know that. Everybody in the world is looking for an honest person. So if you can be honest, if you can show those who employ you that you can be an honest person, trust me, you will go places. I have far too many examples. I won't waste your time for that. Third thing I want you to take note of is that the richest people, the most successful people, are those who add value. They are those who add value. Those who solve problems. They add value. So, a farmer who is farming cocoa, for instance, a cocoa farmer or a cassava farmer, he'll be okay, but he won't be the most prosperous person. the person who will be most prosperous is the one who can process that cocoa and make it into chocolate, or who can process that cassava into the various things and sell it. Those are the most prosperous people.
Have been rolling out programs to ameliorate the plight of the downtrodden and the common man in the state. One of such is the recent enrollment of vulnerable into the Nasarawa State Insurance Equity Program. Can you shed more light on this program that you just started off last week?
Well, there is this healthcare provision fund, and which we got some subvention from the National Health Insurance Scheme, and the state government is to pay a counterpart fund to the scheme, and which we have done. And the idea here is to enroll the vulnerables into the health insurance scheme. Because of the passion His Excellency the Executive Governor has for the vulnerables, the downtrodden, and particularly those in special needs, he gave the directive that will pay our counterpart to the scheme, which we've done as a state. And therefore, after doing that, we decided to go all out to enroll the vulnerables, particularly those who are physically challenged, into the health scheme, which I launched last week, starting from the school, the special education, school of special needs here in Lafia. And the idea is that we're going to go all ahead to enroll as many of those that fit into that category all around the state. And this is a scheme that we want to encourage citizens of Nasarawa State to key into the health insurance scheme, because having to spend from your pocket to procure health care sometimes is quite difficult, because most diseases don't come with any notice, and you might fall ill and you don't have the money at that time. But if you're already in a scheme, all you need to do is just go to an area of where you're registered, and you get the services to take care of your health. And we're calling on well-meaning Nigerians, citizens of the state, those who have, to enroll as many people as they can in their communities. And that's a community insurance scheme. And it's just about 12,000 naira per person per year. And I'm sure that our community leaders and philanthropists and organized private sector can come in and enroll as many citizens of the state as possible into this scheme.
Right. How do you determine those who are vulnerable, and what do all persons who are enrolling into this scheme stand to benefit?
Well, like we enroll the children in this special school. They already have an area where they can go to if they fall ill. And for them, I think the Daratu Alaf Specialist Hospital is there, area of the primary contact, so that any of these children, anytime they fall ill, they can just go there and they can get medical services without having to pay from their pockets. That's what they stand to benefit.
All right, let's look at the coronavirus pandemic. You are the chairman of the state task force on COVID-19 in the state. Just recently, we've seen top-profile personalities in the country, across the country, being infected with the virus. Now, looking at Nasarawa State, what is the government doing to ensure that we don't have a high number of cases of COVID-19 in this second wave?
We have not relented right from the beginning, and all the different units have been working ever since then, and the EOC is on top of it, and they meet very regularly, and every week the EOC meets. EOC means the Emergency Operations Center of COVID-19, and we thank the NCDC for helping us to develop the EOC to what it is now, and it's a fantastic EOC. You go in there and real time communications are there between us here and the national body, NCDC, in Abuja. And now in Nasarawa State, we've got an improvement to a level where we now do the tests here in Nasarawa State. Before now, we just take all our samples to Gadua, but now we test them in Bingham University, Federal Medical Center, Kefi, and the Dalata Specialist Hospital. And all these facilities have PCR machines, and we can, like in the one here in Lafia, we can test up to 200 samples in a day, and the Federal Medical Center, Kefi, has a facility like that too, and so also is Bingham. So we have improved on our testing, and the teams are still there, working on contact tracing and doing testing, advocacies, and the rest of them are there. And my interest is to note that in Nasarawa State, we apart from the task force, which is central, we have other bodies that we have encouraged to form COVID-19 committees, like the State House of Assembly now has an ad hoc committee on COVID-19. The Traditional Council has its own committee on COVID-19. The religious bodies, GNI and CAN, we've encouraged them, and they've all formed COVID-19 committees at those levels. And the idea is to improve on the advocacy and continue to create awareness. Because it got to a point that a lot of people thought, initially it was like COVID-19 didn't exist. Then, okay, it exists, and like, oh, the thing has gone. And even those who are cautious seem to have dropped their guards. And we are continuing with the awareness and letting them know that this thing is not gone. It's still there with us, and we need to be even more careful now that having a second wave of it. Because this time around, the virus might come with more virulence, and many more people will go down with it. But so we're talking to our people and encouraging them to follow simple instructions. We must still maintain the social distance. We must encourage people to wash their hands like we've been told to do. People wearing face masks and what have you. So we will still keeping on doing that. And the medical teams are still in place. Like I told you, the cases seem to have increased a little bit in Nasarawa State. Some 3 days ago, we had up to 20 positive cases in Nasarawa State, which is the largest number I've had in a very long time. And two days ago, so we got about 10. I think yesterday was just about 1 or 2. But it means therefore that it is here with us. And we must continue to educate ourselves and encourage ourselves to see how we can prevent this pandemic from rearing its ugly head in Nasarawa State.
All right, talking about the number of cases recorded so far, what are the plans for treatment and isolation in the state?
Right, it got to a point where we leverage on home care for those people who were found to be positive, because just a few of them really came down with symptoms, and most of those symptoms were mild, and we thought we could manage them in their homes. Because initially we managed them in hospitals. I only saw that their symptoms, those who are coming out, their symptoms were mild, and quite a number of them were symptomless. So we thought with just home care we could do it. But of recent, I found that I've been informed that a number of them have come down with quite some serious symptoms and signs, and they have to be taken into hospital. So we're managing them in the hospital, the isolation centers in Kefi, and the Nasarawa Specialist Hospital here in Lafia. And I think so far so good. I've not gotten a report of any loss of life of recent. So the health workers are working around the clock to ensuring that those patients get adequate treatment.
Thank you very much, Excellency. I did promise not to take much of your time. We so much appreciate.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.